When people talk about Derry, the first thing that often comes to mind is the historic city walls. Let's go and have a closer look. Tommy, really nice to meet you. We'll go and find out about these walls.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now you're on the walls with me now, and they were built between 1613 and 1618. And they were built to protect Protestant people who had come here in the 17th century and was called the Plantation of Ulster. However, in 1688, the King of England then was James II of England. And while he was king, he became Catholic and he fled from England to France. There in France, his cousin, who was Louis XIV of France, sent James to Ireland with 2 French regiments with him. The idea being to recruit an army in Ireland using Catholicism. And he ordered the Protestant regiment in the city here to leave to fight in France, and the city was left without a garrison. 30 miles north of here, the town of Coleraine, there was a Scottish regiment who were loyal to James II. They were ordered to come here. And they came here on the far side of the river. They crossed the river forward by ferry boat towards one of the gateways, the Ferry Quay Gate. And as they did so, the citizens were having a meeting deciding what to do, whether they should let them in or not. But 13 young boys who were apprentices to trades, in fear of the army, ran and closed the Ferry Quay Gate against them. And the closing of the gates by these apprentice boys brought about this famous siege here, which went on really from December 1688 to the end of July the following year. The city inside the walls was planned before it was built. It's the first planned city in the British Isles, and they're now the most complete walls of any city in the British Isles. We can walk all the way around the walls here. You can see the centre square, which is called the Diamond. And away beyond that, you can see the opposite gate, called the Ferry Quay Gate, because the Ferry Quay Gate overlooked the ferry point on the river. And the building behind there with the green dome on top is now officially the world's oldest independent department store. This area here is called the Grand Parade, and it owes that name to a very famous bishop here called Frederick Augustus Harvey, Church of Ireland bishop here. Came here in 1768. He was the 4th Earl of Bristol by title. He's from the family who invented Harvey's Bristol Cream Sherry. And very eccentric gentleman. The Bishop Harvey, every midsummer he left the city and went on what's called the Grand Tour of Europe. In fact, he established that tour around Europe. And it was on one of those journeys into Europe in 1803 that he died in Italy. Entourage with him were determined to get his body back to England. But the Catholic boatmen wouldn't have a heretic bishop aboard the boat. So they put Harvey's body in a huge big packing case and filled it up with ice from the northern Italian Alps. It was midsummer. And they put a label on it saying marble statue, and that's how they got his body back to England. This gate was rebuilt by the Bishop Harvey, the Church of Ireland bishop, in 1790 as a triumphant arch to mark the first centenary of the end of the siege here. And that surprised a lot of people nowadays that this gate commemorating the end of the siege was inaugurated by the Catholic and the Protestant bishop at that time.
There's so many cannons along these walls.
Yeah, all of them date back to, all given by London companies in 1642, and they all date to that time. This one here, whoever's perhaps the most well-known and famous of them, called Roaring Meg, has that name because apparently during the siege here, this one made the loudest noise of all the cannon, and it was frightening people. So this is the oldest cannon. It had a range of just about across the river from here at that point. Much weaker cannon than the others. But you can just see the outline here of a Tudor rose, and here the crown that would have topped that as well. And this cannon dates back to 1595. So, and that's the end of our tour here. We're back almost where we started. I hope you've enjoyed our tour around. I hope it's given you some insight into city and traditions and its people.
Well, Tommy, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. We can safely say that a tour of the city walls is an absolute must. So, when you come to Derry, feel free to come and discover the story of the walls for yourself.